Buckle up, because we're merging back into traffic on Radio Nemo's Nemo Nation.
So, would you care to do the introductions on our next guest, who always appears at the top of the show, first hour, to welcome us back into Monday on the road?
The totally terrific terrapin known as the Turtle, Tarrah, coming on right now. Hey, Tarrah. Fantastic. I'm crossing my T's. Don't have time to dot the I's.
What's happening, Tarrah? What's going on? What's the good word with Breaker Breaker Backtalk?
Well, guys, we're going to be diving back into our conversation about the Mount Rushmore of trucking radio. This will serve as a part 2 to last week's conversation. And today we'll continue on the conversation and dive into the legacy of Charlie Douglas, kind of wrap things up on this conversation. But first, yesterday we had someone send in a photo that was just too cool not to share. TruckerBosn actually made decals for his truck window. I know you guys saw this. That says Nemo Nation and Road Gang Radio. It was so cool. Thoughts on this, guys?
Add to the bone.
Yeah, that's what I put on my quote or my, what do you call that? Comment.
A comment
on the thing. Yeah, that was really nice.
I just couldn't believe it. I was like, that is the coolest thing. And then Don Max Crouse hopped into the comment section and dropped a photo. He actually added the Mount Rushmore of trucking radio graphic to his truck.
Oh my God. Okay. Did not know
Yes,
that. I didn't
yes,
see that
it is
yet.
in the comment section, guys. You'll have to go check it out. We shared it on our Facebook page. And he has a lot of other Nemo inspired things on his truck, but he added the Mount Rushmore of trucking radio. It was just incredible. And David has to just, I mean, that has to feel so special. It feels special to me, and I'm just a small part of this. I mean, just like, I don't know, celebrities get, tattooed onto people a lot of the time. You're getting your face put onto people's trucks. I wonder if anyone's ever gotten a Road Gang or a Dave Nemo tattoo. That'd be very interesting to know.
I don't know.
Let me ask you a question, by the way. Do you notice that, I love Don Max Crouse. I'm going to pick on him a little bit here. Let me pick on him, Dave.
Okay.
So, our good friend TruckerBosn put that up there on his Facebook page. And then Don did the thing that a lot of people do. Me too, me too, me too. I'm there as well. Me too. And I want to say, great, Don, you're there as well. Why aren't you posting that every day? you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, guys, one of the things that TruckerBosn is doing that I think is so incredibly cool, and Don has done this a lot, so I'm picking on Don because he knows it's not true. We're a small mom and pop operation over here. We are owner operators. We always have been. We just happen to have been on a bigger platform because we were well worth it to them for all the publicity and media they would get from us and all the work they didn't have to do to make that channel work for them. One of the things that we need from people is exactly what TruckerBosn did. We need a lot of word of mouth. We need a lot of people spreading the good news. And by putting that up there, he really is kind of reminding us all that this is only going to work if those 1,000 or so first subscribers, those people who have those Road Gang pins, are in fact involved in that way. And we're and by the way, I want to point out that everybody was incredibly appreciative. Everybody allowed it to be posted on their wall. Everybody immediately made comments to him and the like. So we're going to really need that. We're going to need that to really make this work. And I thought that was very, very cool. Didn't you?
Yes. I mean, I love stuff like this. I mean, being the little champion out for the little guy is just one of those things. And I know me, when I find a small artist, there's a part of me that wants them to blow up and get so big and be on the Jimmy Fallon show and all the things. And there's another part of me that wants it to stay so small and kind of gatekeep the artist. But we have to grow this. We want the word to get out there, and we do a lot of things for safety. And there's just so many things that we touch on that we'd love to get out there to people. So we love our small community of the 1,000 people and the 500 pins, but we also want to grow this and have a big family. So we'd love for you guys to share it as well.
Go on.
Okay, well, Jerry B had 2 comments. He said, list the faces from left to right for all the younger truckers out there who don't know. And so if you've seen the graphic, you may know, but Bill Mack from left to right, Bill Mack, Dale Summers, Truck and Bozo, of course, Dave Nemo, and Charlie Douglas. And then Jerry B also said, if the back of the mountain is the backside of them standing there, we all know where the new host's face would be. Just saying. I'll see myself out.
Oh, thank you, JB.
Thank you, JB. We love that one.
Thank you,
We
JB.
love
By the
that.
way, our good friend JB3237 is, in fact, alive and well on the platform. Good to see you out there, Mr. Bowers, who made the trip as well as Marshall did over here to the Degas house for our kind of christening party. We were actually thrilled to have him on board, and we always love it when he gets a chance to participate. So go on. And Dave, do you want to mention anything about the person who's on the back end? Did you get the comment? Did you get the comment? Do you understand what Jerry said?
Not really.
Go ahead and read it again, Tarrah.
Okay, I will. It says, if the back of the mountain is the backside of them standing there, we all know where the new host's face would be. Just saying. I'll see myself out.
Got it now. Okay.
We're going to have a backside of the Mount Rushmore graphic going up next week. Just kidding. But the next comment
Did you ever
that
see the movie? Did you ever see, Tarrah, the movie or heard of the movie called North by Northwest?
I don't think so.
It's an Alfred Hitchcock film starring Cary Grant, and it's an espionage kind of crime thriller, but it takes place at Mount Rushmore. Oh, you would love this movie.
I'll have to look it up.
Yes.
I need to look that up, but maybe I'll make a little parody reel for the listeners out there.
Dre would love it too, because he was just there. Did you ever see North by Northwest, Dre?
Yes,
I have. He's seen it.
By the way,
Wow, I need to look it up.
List called Top 10 Best Dressed Men in Any Movie. And it includes people like Marcello Mastroianni from 8.5 and Humphrey Bogart from To Have and To Have Not. The number one best dressed man in any movie, according to the list, is Cary Grant in North by Northwest. And Tarrah,
wow.
this is really cool. His costume was designed so that he had to have two separate pair of pants to do the movie, because the pants that he wore while standing up, nobody could sit down in. They were so straight. They were so perfectly hemmed for walking around that if you sat down, it was too tight.
He had standing and sitting jeans or pants.
The pants for the suit. They had two different pants to allow him to sit down. And I don't know if you know this. What was Cary Grant's real name? Archie Leach.
Archibald Leach.
And what he said was, he goes, no one could wear that suit. Only Cary Grant could wear that suit. Even Archie Leach could not wear that suit.
Yeah.
He's considered and it's really funny because he's in that suit getting chased through a cornfield by an airplane. It's a major city, and he still looks awesome.
Of course. What pants would you wear if you were being chased by a plane in a cornfield?
When they asked him, which pants are you wearing in the cornfield? And he goes, the pants you could sit down in.
Of course.
Watch that movie, Tarrah. It really is kind of amazing how good that suit looks. I don't think anybody's ever looked better. By the way, Bruce Almighty says, I participated in the Richard Petty experience. I drove 127.27 miles per hour, 8 laps. This was a gift from my employer. I wish I could have driven 190 miles an hour. And speaking of TruckerBosn, he dropped in. He says, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. And Jerry's got to run. He's going to be listening. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you, Dave.
Thank you, Bosun.
By the way, pull my mic closer. Marshall told me to pull my mic closer. Is there an issue? No, there is not. Okay. Thank you very much. All righty. Go on.
Well, Roger D asked, who was that DJ out of either Shreveport or New Orleans that used to play Pinball Machine by Lonnie Irving? And Dave, you actually jumped into the comments yourself to set the record straight and said, well, Roger, I think that was us, me, Charlie, and Honest John. You could hear us in Shreveport, but we're now again in New Orleans. And you said you'd play Pinball Machine on Nemo's Nightbeat episode pretty soon. So is that still maybe in the cards? I know we did Pinball Machine on Track and Tunes Tuesday a whole 3 years ago. I can't believe that. But is that in the plans?
Boy, people want to know where the time goes. That's where the time went.
I know. I could not believe that. 3 years ago we started that. It's insane.
Yes, that song we'll do Pinball Machine on next week's Nemo's Nightbeat. But today is a very interesting day, and there's a coincidence, and I did not know this when I put this week's Nemo's Nightbeat together, but we'll record that today, and it will go up live tomorrow night on Road Gang on Radio Nemo, where it is, Radio
the
Nemo,
roads.
radionemo.com, iHeartRadio, and Live 365. And then tomorrow night it also goes live up at 10 o'clock Eastern Time on Reach Across America Radio. But what I was going to tell you is I did a show with nothing but train songs. Somebody asked me, Dave, I love the trucking songs, but train songs are great, and they've been around a lot longer. Do you have some train songs? And I said, I got every train song there ever was. So I put together this show about train songs, but one of them is a song called, I won't tell you what the song is, but it mentions the state of Georgia. And I'm going to tell the story about the original title and meaning of that song, and it's a huge hit. Everybody knows it, so it's kind of cool. But it has to do with Charlie's Angels, which made their TV debut today on television. So, the anniversary is of Charlie's Angels. It was back in 1976.
Wow, callback then.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. Do you know what
I'm excited.
The original name of Charlie's Angels was the Alley Cats?
I would not
I've
have watched
heard
that.
The Alley Cats. Yeah.
I would not have watched an absolute inch of that. That would not have been. I would not have been attracted to a show called The Alley Cats.
Kate Jackson didn't like the Alley Cats, and she wanted it to be called Harry's Angels. But there was another show.
Does anybody else hear the problem? Even Dave saying it properly. Does anybody else hear the problem there?
Yeah, really.
Go on, Dave.
Harry's Angels. Harry's Angels. But there was another show on television. It was a detective show at that time, and I don't even remember this show very well. It was called Harry O. It was Harry-O. And they said, well, we'll get confused.
Well, and by the way, he was related to Hawaii 5.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I did not know that.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Tarrah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's also related to the Kool-Aid Man. Oh, yeah. You ever see a Family Guy make fun of the Kool-Aid Man?
No, but I can imagine.
So they're all in this courtroom, and people go, oh, yeah, oh, yeah. And then finally he breaks through the wall, and he goes, oh, yeah. He goes, he said, now that I think about it, this is really awkward. He's like, a lot of people are going to have to do a lot of repairs because of me, aren't they? I'm sorry. And then he just kind of leaves. It's kind of great. All right, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go on.
John P. shared, I'm a multi-million-mile driver. These gentlemen drove us many a mile before the progress this industry went through. If those miles could be totaled up, Dave, Dale, Bill, and Charlie would be a multi-billion-mile driver. I thought that was an incredible way to put it, because if you do add all of those up, every listener, I mean, that's an insane amount of miles for sure.
It is insane. It is absolutely insane. And the real insanity is born in the fact that every one of those miles was done 1 mile at a time.
Yes. Yes. In a literal sense and in a figurative sense.
We are celebrating
Well.
Yogi Bear today, so there's my contribution.
Every mile is always done 1 mile at a time. That's a Dave Nemoism, by the way. The future was
There's
yesterday.
a lot of those.
And every
Yeah.
mile was done 1 mile at a time. Go on.
Well, Dave, we went through, of course, Phil Mack and Dale Summers' careers in the last edition, part 1. We're going to be posting this as part 2. So I know you had a close connection with the late Charlie Douglas. And I think let's dive in and share a little bit about how you two met, the roots of the Road Gang, and just kind of Charlie's legacy, if you will.
Okay, Charlie Douglas. He is a DJ at the country music station here in New Orleans, late 60s, early 70s.
WTIX, right?
Well, that's rock and roll.
What was the channel?
WNOE.
WNOE. I remember WNOE. I remember.
Jimmy No,
Right.
N-O-E is his name, his last name. Jimmy No from Shreveport has K-N-O-E in Shreveport. WNOE in New Orleans.
No ego there.
No ego.
No ego.
There it is. Well, yeah, the 3-letter name.
By the way, no, N-O-E stands for no ego.
You ever notice, and I do this all the time, I drive Cheryl nuts. Here in Louisiana, we have license plates, and through the different iterations through the decades, you've had 3 numbers and 3 letters, or 3 letters, 3 numbers, that sort of thing. They always used to shy away from spelling words. Now they spell words. Like I saw a car the other day, it was CAR for car, HAT for hat. All kinds of words are being spelled on these license plates.
I think it's the hurricane thing where eventually they just exhausted the possibilities of women, so they had to shift over to men. And I think eventually it's like, you know what, dude? If we keep trying to avoid word combinations, this is never going to end. It becomes almost as deliberate as just letting names kind of happen. Mm-hmm. It kind of strikes me like that. And the number of people who search for meaning inside of them was always crazy. I'm sorry, Tarrah. I got to turn it back to Dave and say we're talking about Charlie Douglas and WNOE in New Orleans.
Yes.
So he is living, he's working here in New Orleans, but he is commuting to Picayune, Mississippi. You go over I-10, you cross Lake Pontchartrain, the south end of Lake Pontchartrain on I-10. Then you hit I-59 at Slidell, and you pop up to, it's about an hour out of New Orleans or so. And he used to run that route every night. He was on at midnight, and he went to Loyola University here in New Orleans, and I've told this story, so bear with me, I'll be very quick. In 1922, there was a science project at Loyola that became WWL Radio. And Charlie went to the Jesuits at Loyola and said, look, you've got this flamethrower signal here. And if you were in St. Louis or Chicago, Denver, Kansas City, and you had a radio station and it was 50,000 watts, you would have a circular pattern, 360 degrees. If you're in New Orleans and you have that 360-degree pattern, half of your signal would be over the Gulf of Mexico. So what the government told the Jesuits they could do, take your entire pie, don't cut your pie, just take the pie and shove the whole thing north.
So New Orleans was the bottom of the circle rather than the center of it.
Exactly. And we used to get hot cross buns every Easter from a bakery up in Windsor, Ontario.
That's how far the signal went.
That's how far the signal went. Wow. So he went to the Jesuits and said, look, you're playing great music at night, big band music and everything, but you're just not, there's no advertising.
It was putting old ladies to sleep. And I mean that in a positive way.
Yeah.
That music was designed for people who were up like writing late at night or working quietly behind a desk, the few that were doing it. Most of it was designed, like my grandmother, she would listen to what was the easy listening station in New Orleans?
WEZB.
EZB, yeah, and it would be like, I mean, and I talk about really easy listening, like no lyrics, and when they would show up, it would be like Norman, what's his name?
Like
Lawrence.
Even an elevator would go to sleep.
Like an elevator would go to sleep, and some of the music they were playing was designed to let certain people just kind of drift off to bed. You can't make any money off that.
So, yeah, but that radio station would be on in the morning. That radio never turned off.
Right.
It would be on in the morning.
Right.
And that was fine. It was a pattern.
Right.
But he went there and told them, hey, these truck drivers out here, there's a whole world, and nobody's tapping into it.
Yeah,
well, they
untapped
did.
Market.
They did, and the rest is history.
And he kind of did it from driving home, right?
Yeah, because he saw nothing but trucks.
Yeah, remember, he would drive home, Tarrah, from New Orleans. He lived in Picayune, Mississippi, which I had to drive through. By the way, I thought about Charlie. I stopped at Jay Hotspie's TA Petro. But then it's like, rather than go to Mississippi, which I used to always do, go to the coast, I decided to drive, you drive up 59 to make your way over to Chillicothe. And I drove through Picayune, and I said, I'm just going to stop here and have a cup of coffee for a moment in honor of Charlie Douglas. He would drive home every night, Tarrah, and that's a drive that's long enough and on the I-10 and 610, and then it gives way to 59. He would see all those trucks, and he realized, why are they playing jazz? Mm-hmm. Why are they, why are they playing orchestra music? When in fact, they could actually have a whole lot of guys out here listening. It really is
a beautiful thought.
It's a stroke of genius. It's an actual stroke of genius. It's like Quint in the boat in Jaws, knowing the shark is going to bite the reel before it ever happens.
And the old thing about, well, if a new business can last 3 years, it's going to make it. We almost didn't last those 3 years because in 1973, this is 1971, he starts in March. I came on in the summer of 72. By 1973, the Arab oil embargo starts. The CB radio, which has been around, goes ballistic, and it almost killed us. CB radio almost killed us.
What
Big
saved
video
you?
killed the radio star, but
Yeah.
it's
Just
a
being
little
out there
different
doing it. I mean, just doing it. You know, being who we were and doing what we did.
Well, and I'll tell you this is my
But we didn't use CB handles on the air.
Yeah. Standing up for professionals makes a big difference here, by the way, because there is a point, no matter how much fun it is to go on the internet or to go on a CB and yak it up, it gets really nasty really quickly because a lot of times the worst elements know they have free reign, and then people start going, you know what? I want to
Well,
hear a more controlled environment.
Look at what goes on online on the internet.
Exactly.
Look at the bullying that goes on with kids committing suicide over that. All started on the CB radio.
Yeah, and
Period. End of story.
And people said, I want to go find some place where they're playing music and they got things under control and there's a better atmosphere. And so back they came to you guys, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
It's kind of what played out. Tarrah, go on.
I think next week I'm going to just wrap all the comments just around CBs and kind of the communication and all of that stuff. So
Okay.
I'm going to wrap up a couple of comments here from the Mount Rushmore of Trucking Radio, and then I think let's just do a deep dive of CBs next week. How's that sound?
Okay.
Sounds great.
good.
And by the way, you should reach out to Tom Bray because, man, he actually
Oh,
is
yes.
fantastic when it comes to talking about CB radios. He did essentially a treatise on it a couple of months ago. But go on.
Well, just a couple of short comments real quick that I'll get through, and then we have some honorable mentions as well. But Philip said trucking radio icons, and of course I agree. And then Brownie F said, I proudly listened to these guys for over 1 million miles. Richard A said, I grew up listening to Bill Mack and the Trucking Bozo, or Bill Mack the Trucking Bozo, and Dave Nemo show, and continued after I started my driving career as well. So we see people listening during their career, before their career, after their career. We have all the stages of life within trucking and beyond. But a couple of honorable mentions. This one says from Tom C. It says, so glad you didn't forget the great Charlie Douglas. But what about John Trimble? And I know we touched on that a little bit last week.
Yeah, we talked about John last week, yeah.
Yes. And then it says, and that all-night truckers radio DJ from WWVA in Wheeling, West Virginia. Do you know who they are, Dave?
That was John Trimble.
Was it?
Mhm.
Huh. They're
He
acting
was
in
on
this comment
three
like it's two
different-
separate people.
Yeah, he did. He was on 3 different stations.
Oh,
not
wow,
not
okay.
at the same time, but when you know,
Yeah.
yeah.
3 different stations. Yeah.
That happens, by the way. There are
Yeah,
people on 3
yeah.
different stations at the same
Wow.
time. That's not a,
Yeah.
that show's so popular.
You
people
know,
would
there
pick it
are
up.
people who have done this, and I don't remember who it was. There was a guy that lived in Chicago. I think he did the morning drive show in Chicago, flew to L.A. and did afternoon drive in L.A. and then came back to. He commuted back and forth every day.
And
Oh, wow.
by the way, that is not an uncommon thing even today. I don't know if you know this, but the 2 guys that call college football, Reese Davis and Kirk Herbstreit, they will call the afternoon big time college football game, jump on a plane, and then call the night one in another city. Straight up do it.
Wow.
Which, by the way, terrifies me because I'm just completely convinced that one morning we're going to wake up and they're not going to be with us anymore. I hate to sound that gloomy, but
Yeah.
I mean, I realize that it's the safest way to travel. But when you're flying at that rate, whoo, man, they are. I mean, they really have
Yeah.
been ever. People still do it, though, man. People still do it. And people are listening in droves out there, by the way. Tarrah, final one. And then you got to shuffle off this radio coil.
Yes, we had 2 honorable mentions that we want to mention because we love them as well. But this one says honorable mention idea Tim Ridley. And of course, we love Tim. It just wasn't a part of the same era as the faces that were on Mount Rushmore. And then also someone said Kevin Rutherford is missing. And we love and support Kevin all throughout everything. But once again, just not part of the same era. So just wanted to bring those up because we do love them both and support them, but just not the same.
I'm going to make a really great point about our friends, Kevin Rutherford, about our friend Tim Ridley, and about our friend Casey Phillips. They're part in football. There's a thing called a coaching tree. I would encourage everybody to go look up the great coach Marty Schottenheimer and the great coach Bill Parcells, and then look at all of their assistants and watch what those men became. Casey Phillips, Kevin Rutherford, Tim Ridley are the house that Nemo built. They are all from Dave's coaching tree. So anytime you hear them, anytime you gravitate towards them, if you spend your first 4 to 5 to 6 hours on the other platform in the morning, I want to remind you, you are living in the house that Nemo built. How about that? You like that? Did we
Mic
lose
drop.
T?
No, I'm here.
Oh, okay.
I'm just stunned.
I'm
I mean,
stunned.
Dramatic
I'm
pause.
speechless. So
I mean that, but I mean, tell me I'm wrong, Dave.
Well,
Tell me, he would never make credit. He would never take credit for it. But by the way, I can just name somebody in trucking radio now, with the exception of Dale's son, who is great. It's the house that Nemo built. Really easy to run a channel when somebody else is picking all the talent for you. Thank you, Tarrah. That's my shot for the day.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Tarrah.